Family, we got a lot of drop. This might be the realest drop I ever dropped, but I just want to shout out to everybody, man. Everybody out there, all the nation that got the drop. You know what I'm saying? Everybody digging deep. You know what I'm saying? We're digging deep right now. It's 2 in the morning in Los Angeles, and I should be asleep, but man, let's go. Let's drop it. So check out this Lex Will drop. I want to do a quick response to it, and then we'll get into whatever. We got a lot to go, so I'm not even going to do much talking. We're going to go from drop to drop. Let's go from drop to drop.
Right.
I'm not going to do much talking, but this is just, check out his latest drop. We'll definitely put the link up. I'll put the link up, should I say. I'm used to saying we, because I function as a squad, you know, me, with everybody at 432. You already know what time it is, man. Shout out again to Ra Ra the Great One. Beautiful blessings, man, to you and the family. D. Will, Political Mike, Silas Nehemiah, Lego, Chef Candy, what's up?
Aristotle refers to the Persian bird, right? The peacock motif. White people are Arabs. The peacock motif was revived in the Renaissance iconography. You know what icon means, right? Images, right?
I advise everybody to watch this entire video. Alright, this is the one that kind of sparks something in me even more. So shout out again to Lex Will. Love to your king. Love to your family as well. And yeah, man, he's talking about, you know, the peacock and the peacock sign, the NBC, but a lot of drop that came off some other drop with that King Hiram Art drop with the American Nations. I'll be doing chapter 2 pretty soon. So kings to all you fellas, man. But yeah, the peacock, you know what I'm saying, being you know, representative of these invaders. You know, they came in with this particular symbol, this peacock symbol. You know, we fell to it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of good drop, a lot of great drop in there. So he's gonna wrap that up and get into what we're getting into with the worlds beyond the poles. But we're gonna get into the poles, the north pole, south pole, and some interesting drop that this king pointed out.
And unified Hera and Juno, right? Hera and Juno, and on each European painter's focus. One myth states that Hera's servant, the 100-eyed Argus Pantops, was instructed to guard the woman-turned cow. Lo, Hera had transformed Lo into a cow after learning Zeus' interest in her. Zeus had the messenger.
He's talking about Zeus. I'm not going to do a lot of talking, like I said, but he's talking about Zeus. So we're going to get into some of this Greek mythology towards the end of this drop. But keep all this in mind. I'm not just banging you upside the head for no reason. But I am going to hit you upside the head with some real shit. Go out and hear a mark.
The gods, Hermes, kill Argus through eternal sleep and free Lo. According to Ovid, to commemorate her faithful watchman, Hera had the 100 eyes of Argus preserved forever in the peacock's tail. Alright, so let's finish it out with what started and got our attention.
Okay, let's go there.
This is actually what started and got us our attention. Bum, bum, bum. I want to read this last part because this last part is pretty important. Alright, so it says, from west to east, the Archipelagos to the east and north, Carib and Lucrate Islands.
Okay, we're going to get into the islands. We're going to get into insular islands. He's going to define insular. All right, and we're going to go there right quick. Let me make a quick adjustment here. 1 second. Fix my little camera setup here. What's up, y'all? Peace to y'all, man. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for being up late. Well, you're not probably up late because this is not even... You ain't even live, man. I thought y'all was live with me for a sec. I'm so used to doing live radio. It's crazy. Thanks for y'all staying up with me. Y'all like, man, it's noon, fool. It's noon. All right, cool. Let's go. We good? We good.
Oceania and Thessalonia, the oceanic and insular world. What is an insular world? Has everybody ever wondered what is an insular world? What is insular?
These islands are called these insular worlds. Worlds, these little insular worlds.
Insular, separated from other people. Not knowing of interest or in new or different ideas. Related to the island or islands. See,
islands.
This is a word that Japheth's people has brought. Insular, having a narrow view of the world. Alright, if you are infecting the world, you are looking at the world as in a narrow view, right? All commodity. That is why the world is in a destroyed pattern, right?
Indeed.
And Japheth shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Alright, the inner solar world, right? Referring to the islands. Containing Australia, which is a continent, but it's considered oceanic. So, because it's a continent, I believe. Meganesula, or the Great Islands from Japan till Ceylon and Madagascar. Polynesia and the small eastern islands. These two last form immense groups of archipelagos, or clustered islands. So every time you see archipelagos, it just means clustered islands. Now, why wouldn't somebody just type two fucking words, clustered islands, instead of archipelagos? But it's just because they got the word archipelagos, I believe, from Greek or something like that. Therefore, the terrestrial world concludes 6 continents and 3 groups of clustered islands, forming 9 geotomes. It is Neotholia. Neotholia is North America. You go back up. Neotholia or Hesperia, the New World containing Atlanta or North America, Colombia, South America, and the Indies, and the Carib and Lucrece Islands. So,
do you understand yet that we're just talking about you? Are you getting that? Sorry, let me get my center. There we go. All right, cool. Sorry about that. Do you understand we're just talking about you? This is what they're writing in Discovery of You. This document, American Nations description, it's going to be in the link. You know, it's a long title. But it's about you. Okay? Why are they going to the Greek philosophies to discuss who you are today? Why did they say we have 7 million Aztecs to build the railroad? Where did these people come from? Does it seem like it was a no-brainer to them? Oh, yeah, I know where I'm from, man. Black power. Black power. Blah, blah. Come on, man. We're mumbling and we're bubbling. Bumbling. Mumbling and bumbling. Bumbling and fumbling. All right. Now it's time to get the tumbling. Let's go.
Neotholia contains all that group. All right. The New World, or the 2 Americas, a double continent crowned in the east and towards the 2 poles by the archipelagos. All right, so this is what I wanted to highlight. I don't even want to go any further.
Listen up.
2 poles by the islands? That's weird. Because I thought the pole was up north, where there's no islands. And I thought, Antarctica was a continent, which this guy does not fucking say. And that's where the other pole was. Because this guy's bringing a lot of truth that I've never heard before. I mean, he's bringing a lot of truth that I never heard before. So much so that this guy's antenna picked it up. No matter what he says, he's still sitting there telling you hi as God. Okay?
Okay, so let's back it up. I want you to get that one more again. One more again. Let's start right here.
Of clustered islands forming 9 geotomes. It is Neotholia. Neotholia is North America. You go back up. Neotholia or Hesperia. And I thought, Antarctica Antarctica was a continent in Australia. Why wouldn't somebody just type 2 fucking words, clustered islands, instead of archipelagos? But it's just because they got the word archipelagos, I believe, from Greek or something like that. Therefore, the terrestrial world concludes 6 continents and 3 groups of clustered islands, forming 9 geotones. It is Neotholia. Neotholia is North America. You go back up. Neotholia or Hesperia, the New World containing Atlanta or North America, Colombia, South America, and the Indies, and the Carib and the Great Islands. So Neotholia contains all that group. All right.
That's what they call it.
The 2 Americas, a double continent crowned in the east and towards the 2 poles by the archipelagos. All right, so this is what I wanted to highlight. I don't even want to go any further. 2 poles?
Yeah, man. It's
by
crazy.
the island?
Okay.
That's weird.
It's very weird. This is a weird concept. All right, this is weird stuff. This is weird. So look, we're just going to keep going. We're not going to get talky. Let's just keep going. I want to bring your attention back to the flat drop worlds beyond the poles. The Abizaid flat earth map, 1920. Please click on this link as well. Check it out. I mean, take your time and do it when you can. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot. I don't know if you can see it right. Oh, can you see it now? All right, there we go. So go to this joint, click on it, and yeah, enjoy this particular segment right here. All right. So let's get it. Now we're talking about poles. All right. We're talking about poles. Again, erase what you think the world looks like. If you're not ready to do that, cool, just fall back and surf the wave. If you're ready to do that, man, go get the dopest surfboard you got. Because we're going surfing in the USA. Real spill, right? So let's just say perhaps we're being scientific, right? Perhaps the North Pole is not where they say it is. Perhaps all these north-south stuff is just to confuse you. Maybe you got to drop your entire concept of north and south to understand the plane of existence that you walk on every day. How the sun circulates you and the moon inside of a system. But check out this drop. Check out the whole series, man, if you haven't checked it out yet, and catch up to this. Those who have seen it will know exactly where we're going when we talk about the 2 poles and how I was confused when I did this. I said, look, I haven't even looked into this really. But this is interesting that this lady here is hold on, let me get my orientation. All right. I said it's mighty wild that this lady here is about to, drop this stuff about poles on us not being where we think they are. You know what I mean? So let's check it out. If you don't dang near mind. Let go, man. Come on. Come on, man. Don't you play. And don't you play. 2 poles.
And they penetrated a land extent of 2,300 miles beyond the poles. Also,
Let's see. Let's go.
Yeah, in this book, I also sent you in this email, but I'll send it again. There is, it's a map to show you that the north and south poles are not where we think they are. In fact, I've always said that what we know as the North Pole is the central pole. North Pole and the South Pole are actually south of our plane, and they're the 2 exits. In the book, World Beyond the Poles, you'll find that he mentions that.
I wonder if this is the loudest. I mean, I know you guys are struggling to hear it. Oh, wait, I can do a little louder. Let's run it back. One thing.
And they penetrated a land extent of but I'll send it again. There is, it's a map to show you that the North and South poles are not where we think they are. In fact, I've always said that what we know as the North Pole is the central pole. North Pole and the South Pole are actually south of our plane, and they're the two exits. In the book, World Beyond the Poles, you'll find...
Now, before we continue, just try to visualize it. Don't fight it. The system is going to make you fight it. You're going to get distracted. Something's about to happen to distract you. It's okay. All right, we got these principalities that are in our technology. They're all around us. They're in our thoughts. We have to shake them one by one to get through the static. It's just static. It's okay. Take a breath, get through the static, come back to this if you got to understand this. Take a walk outside. She just dropped that the North Pole, even in the, flat Earth map, we'll get to later, but the North Pole would be right here in the center. Antarctica would be surrounding us. So this would be the North Pole. This is Antarctica. She's saying that this is not the North Pole, but the Central Pole, and that the two poles are down here. She said below the plane. Now, I don't know if she means past these particular continents. I don't know if she means beyond the ice, but it's one of those. But apparently, these poles, we call them North and South. Maybe that is North and South. Who knows? But they're next to each other. And maybe these are certain dimensions that we'll talk about in a future presentation of Flat Drop called Space Loop. Let's go.
He mentions that there's land beyond the North Pole, but
They're the two exits, and they're both south from this plane. The North and the South Pole are both south from this plane. This, we're always... Whoa. What's even doper than that is that when I say this plane, I just got it now. They don't got those poles in the old world. They don't have these exits and entrances and these space loops. Well, space loop is the whole plane. I'll explain that later. But they don't have the poles over there. What they're considering the Eastern Hemisphere, Africa, Asia, Europe, I guess. Yeah. Both poles are over here. So they had to get over here in order to even start doing other stuff. Now, the Egyptians knew it, right? Because the Egyptians were over here, but we just dropped that. I hope you got that last drop. You better check out Little Egypt in Illinois. Lake Egypt in Illinois. Horace Butler, shout out. He got the drop. Lego. Fight over Africa or America. These people are... They're talking about the land beyond the ice. And that south of this particular land we're calling Earth, we're calling a globe, we're calling a ball of water spinning, and all we can think and conceptualize is this little piece of Earth with Africa and America and Australia, and that's all we know, that's all we know, that's all we know. They got us on a ball of water spinning with only that land saying, look, trust us, we'll tell you about all the land, but you got the drop, and you got expeditions, and you're hearing it, and you're hearing witnesses. And this is something that you can recon. You ain't got to take nobody's word for anything. Nobody's telling you to do that. Clearly, I'm not trying to indoctrinate you to anything. I'm trying to say, what did she just say? Run it back there. Huh? Kings and queens, man. Wake up. Let's go.
In the book, World Beyond the Poles, you'll find that he mentions that the South Poles are
Listen
not
up.
where we think they are. In fact, I've always said that what we know as the North Pole is the Central Pole. North Pole and the South Pole are actually south of our plane, and they're the two exits. In the book, World Beyond the Poles, you'll find that he mentions that there's land beyond the North Pole, but I think he's referring to this according to the map that he's got in the book. I think the North Pole is not what we call the North Pole. I call it
Excellent point. All these explorers, they say, I'm going to explore the North Pole, I'm going to explore the South Pole, but they always have to come back exactly the way they came. No one's ever went to on sea or plane to the North Pole and came back on the other side of the ball. They tell you stuff like that. Oh, we circumnavigated. But all they did, let me show you how. I'm about to circumnavigate the word perfect.
Do it then.
I'm about to perfectly circumnavigate the word perfect.
Do it. I just circumnavigated the globe.
I'm circumnavigating. So if you're looking down from a bird's eye view of land, and you say, okay, here's the ocean, and it's going around Africa and America and all this, I am about to circumnavigate all this land.
Do it.
I just went around the whole ball with my finger.
Body
You're
bag.
a bird looking down, circumnavigating the whole land. They never circumnavigated a ball and popped out on the other side of it. East to west, or north to south.
Alright, so that's some drop on the poles. As you can see, it's quite the body bag, you know what I'm saying? But hopefully, Brother Legs, that can kind of get you some, more legs, man. More legs to keep running with that. Keep running with that. Let's keep going. I told you I got a lot of drop. I dropped this last video, but now that we're in the zone, I want you to see it again with fresh eyes. Let's go. There go.
It's no doubt that the Flat Earth movement has been used as a psychological operation with the purpose of division. However, that does not discount the fact that it is based on truth.
Over 100 years ago, the Hawaiian Gazette published a story about a map that was made in the 10th century.
This newly discovered map is drawn on the principles of the Mercator projection, echoes the current accepted flat Earth model, as well as the UN flag.
Whoa.
However, there is one significant difference, and that is that our dome is surrounded by dozens of islands.
Reputed to be drawn by Chinese priests, the manuscript was hidden away from authorities for centuries.
Yeah.
However, a letter found claims that the map was actually drawn by Buddhist priests
Dig on it.
earlier in time.
The article goes on to read, the map was found by my brother in a Japanese temple in the mountains of Japan, said Dr. Kabayashi. It has been hidden from the Japanese government in modern times, just as it was in ancient times. For in olden days, such a map would have been destroyed by the authorities.
This begs the question, why would the authorities be so concerned about a map that they would destroy it?
So what is the truth about where we live? Do we live on a globe, flying through space?
Do it?
Do we live inside of a dome? Are we living on an endless plane? Or are there dozens of civilizations watching and waiting for us to remember who we are and where we come from?
Maybe they're waiting for you to remember who you are and where you come from. Now, you know me. Got a lot of drop, but sometimes I'm like, I should cut it short. I can do this, I was almost about to cut the tape. So if you're watching this, I made a last minute decision to keep rolling. I mean, hey, man, if I'm in it for the glory, I would have made that dismount right there. That was a nice one. That was a nice ending to the video. But I'm not. I treat every drop like it's my last drop. I don't know what's popping. We don't know what's happening, right? We know this information is crazy. We know we got a lot to lose. But haven't we already lost if we do nothing? What are we waiting for? Sitting ducks? That's all we are, is sitting ducks. If we're not focused, if we're not together, we're sitting ducks. So I hope you dug on that. I'll leave this link
digital commonwealth. This is the 1800s drop. And again, it goes all the way back to the BCs when you research the Persian cartographer that initially came up with the a muzzle equidistant, aqua muzzle equidistant. It's a crazy name, but I call it the AE. So you can go on this site, and you got the link. You can check it out. You see Gleason's new standard map of the world. That will be the map. We'll click on it in a second. Freeze that, and here's your information. This is going to give you the information of the map. You see, it's not no play. You see, these are serious people putting this together. They're not trying to deceive you. If they were, this would be taught in your classroom. This would be on Dora the Explorer. This would be in every movie like Interstellar. They wouldn't be using GoPro lenses on the, the Felix dude that did the Red Bull jump. You can look on just search it on YouTube and you'll see what they did with the lenses, how it was going, in and out, curving, inside and outside. The curve was going crazy. The curve was going wild. They had this curve and then it bent inside, inverted. They had an inverted curve. So anyway, check this map out. This is Gleason's new standard map of the world projection of J.S. Christopher. So this was his projection that he got specifically from this guy, J.S. Christopher. Modern college, Blackheath, England, scientifically and practically correct as, quote unquote, it is. Why would they say it is, quote unquote? Are they referring to it is? I don't know. That reminds me of I am. It is. Is that not Heya? Somebody go to the Strong's Concordance. Go to 1961. You're going to get Heya. Look at all the definitions of Heya, which are a lot. And I guarantee one of those might be it is. It is established. It is to be. It is. As Heya. Come on, man. Y'all see it. Let me put it back up. Say King Drago, damn, they're crazy. As it is. Hope you can see that. It is. Is that not the definition of Heya? But come on. New standard map of the world. So this is the new standard map of the world. Alright. Buffalo creator. Buffalo Electrotype and Engraving Company. Date 1892. And again, this is based on previous maps. So you got to go before that. The location is at the Boston Public Library and the Norman B. Leventhal Map Center. You think these guys are playing with you? Or is this the drop you got to get later on in life to understand? And then you got to get mad at all these people that, look, man, I won a Halloween costume party when I was 5 years old. I dressed up at school. I dressed up as a damn Challenger spacecraft, man. Not the Challenger. Whichever one didn't blow up, you know how they do. I was that. My mama made a big cardboard box, and I was a spaceship. I wanted to be an astronaut, so I'm pissed off, man. That space is fake. You can see how they film all the missions as far as the moonwalks, the moonwalks, the Stanley Kubrick stuff. Check out the Stanley Kubrick drop. But the spacewalks, underground. They train in these underground facilities. Of course they film there. Of course they film where they train, right? But yeah, so Matt, y'all check it out. All the credentials, everything's there. You can look it up yourself. The barcode, all the stuff. This is legit. So you choose which world you believe. The one you were given or the one you gotta find. The path that's wide or the path that's narrow. You're going to have to make that choice, even if your ego hurts. Even if you got to go back to all your people and say, dang, man, you know what, bang, I know I said that, but I want to be on your good side when y'all find out the truth. I don't want you to turn on me later. It's better for you to, I'm talking to all the leaders and anybody else that's teaching anything other than the truth. When you figure it out, when it hits your spirit, your ruah, it's your responsibility. You will be held accountable. You have a voice. Use it.
If you don't use your voice for truth, you'll lose it. You'll lose your blessing. So I love my people. I love all our leaders. I'm just saying, I'm talking to myself. All right? If I'm not for truth at any time, if I gotta be in 440 for some reason, then I'm not doing my responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I will be destroyed if I don't get out here at 2 o'clock in the morning. Knowing I gotta sleep. I got a busy day. I got meetings. We got this frequency of learning. We're getting it popping in the schools. We're trying to get our kids off that frequency. We're putting 432 in classrooms. I'm busy with that right now. But I can't sleep until I drop this drop. So y'all check out the map. Here's a larger projection of it. Hopefully it pops up. Okay.
Gleason's back. You have the link. You can play with it. You can go in on it. But that's pretty much his new standard map. And that was based on Jay Christopher's map, which is based on, maps before that. This was their secret map. You just saw the one they had in Japan. You just saw the one in Japan? Imagine like y'all didn't just see that. Y'all just saw the one in Japan that had all the extra islands or the continents. Those continents are as big as South and North America and Africa. Those are more terrestrial planes. Are they already in 432, just waiting for us to get tuned up here? Maybe everyone is just waiting for us to wake up so that we can join the party. Maybe it's one big party you don't even understand. Maybe when we go rest with our fathers, we're resting over here. Come on, man. Anyway, this is Gleason's map. This is Antarctica. As you can see, that would be the North Pole, unless that's the Central Pole and the 2 poles are below us. And however it works out, I think it's on this side, like boom, boom. I think they're right here, which would not make it over here, right? In the Eastern Hemisphere, so-called, but it would be in the so-called Western Hemisphere with us. So when they broke the partition, when they finally were able to cross over, when they finally, I'm looking at this backwards, come upside down, but I hope you can dig it. When they finally were able to get us here, they finally crossed the Atlantic, right? That broke that partition so that then they can now access the poles. They can access the higher technology in which Atlantis and Lemuria and all this kind of stuff was functioning in. We'll get into more drop on that, into whose power it was and why everything got destroyed and sunk and buried. Clearly, there was something going on that wasn't righteous. Hey. So, that's the Gleason map. I'm going as fast as I can. I'm going to leave this link. This is an incredible resource. Incredible resource. This link, man. Hold up. Let me do it like this. Okay. Bear with me. I'm trying to set y'all up right. Okay, we could do it like that too. Okay. This link, have fun. Whatever you want to say in your language, have fun. This is a gift. Hey. This is showing the currents. If you see, that is I believe the wind current. I think they also have the ocean currents. I know you guys are going to have a good time with this, so you can tell me more drop about it. I haven't had a time to play with it yet. But these are supposed to be, I believe, the air or wind currents. So when we say the winds or the portals going in the winds, right? The winds going in the portals, out the portals, pushing the sun, the moon in the portals, out the portals. We're still talking that flat drop, right? Does this make sense to you? I mean, or is this kind of like chaos? Does this look like chaos or order? Just look at the wind. Look how it's moving. Is it going in order or in chaos? Okay? That's how they want you to see the world. This is supposed to be the globe spread out in a projection, right? But this thing's so dope that all you gotta do is click this Earth, where it says Earth. Click on Earth, and you can do other projections, just in case you have your own mind, just in case you want to say, well, let me see what this flat Earth stuff is about. Why would they include the AE projection in this program? Maybe because it's a true one. But let's look at it. Let's look at it. Well, let's I mean, you can play around with different ones. Okay, this is even better. I'm glad I found it. Glad I found this one. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is what they want you to think you're on, right? An egg? Oh, yo, I didn't even see that coming, but that's awesome. Okay, so check it. This is your egg, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson, the egg. Right, you got these, leaders, and they're talking about eggs. Everybody has an egg. Who else has an egg? Isis, Asherah. Who fell down in the egg? So are they still worshiping their deities by calling the earth the egg? Do you feel like you're on a egg? Does that make sense? Would you have to understand the curvature right here? If the ball doesn't make sense with the curvature, imagine the curvature right here. Imagine these bridges. Imagine these railroads. Imagine these train tracks. Come on, man. Imagine these airplanes that gotta fly around this curvature. Ain't that something? But Neil deGrasse Tyson says it, right? Science says it. They're just trying to get you flatter. But yo, does this look like order or chaos? Okay. Clearly, it looks like shit. It looks like chaos. Now, what's Kingdrop talking about? What's he talking about with this AE, azimuthal equidistant projection? You click on AE in projection. You see where it is down here? Right there. Right there. Click on AE. Now, just for fun, pull up a separate tab of the UN flag and then look at this. And you'll see the exact same land mass, the exact same structure. You'll see they have a projection of this AE map on the United Nations flag. That's their symbol. And the reef is Antarctica. Now tell me, is this order or chaos? I'll let you study it. Remember, this is from trying to get you. Now I want you to be looking, you're looking down. You are with the Most High on his throne, and you're looking down on the earth. That's how this projection works. That's the dimension you have to be in. You have to be looking at the earth through the eye of the Most High, Heya Heya. From the throne of Heya Heya, looking down on the earth. Then you see the land. Then you see what we would call the central pole or the north pole, right? And wherever the two poles are will be on that side again, the same way we just saw it on the other map. Just so that we got our bearings straight, let's go back to that map. The same thing you're seeing there. You're on the throne, you're looking down on the earth to Africa and all that. That would be the North Pole, or what she's calling the Central Pole, with the two poles being side by side, either here or beyond the ice. Now have that on mind, have that in mind. Just for fun, watch this. Let's go UN flag. I mean, I'm just, I was being lazy before. I'm sorry. I apologize. Like, why not just pull up the picture? Because, that makes sense. Get a nice big one. Ah, that's even better. Give me that. Whatever. Nice big one. Dig on it. Dig on it. Can you dig it? UN flag. Gleason projection, which is also the J. Christopher, which is also the AE projection. Okay. UN flag. Look at the land. Study the land. I mean, even study, I guess it's Australia. Study that. Keep your eye on this little piece. And everything else too. I just need to get this through your skulls. Okay. Australia, same thing, right? Right? It just flipped. Oh man, I just kind of noticed that. Y'all go back in that. I'm going to keep going, but let me know, is that absolutely flip-flop opposite? Because that would mean that they literally did flip our map around. And that's pretty cold. So this is, drop from me to you in real time. So somebody look that up. All right, so that's the UN flag. You saw that. Now let's get back to our projection. Is this order or chaos? Look at it the same way you did the UN flag, the same way you did the other map, right? What's that, Australia down here? I don't know how, it's spun around, but, or is it up here? Anyway, it's the same map. Look at how these make perfect circles. Some are going this way, others are working counterclockwise, and the other ones are working clockwise. It's like rings of clockwise and counterclockwise of these portals. One portal's blowing one way, one portal's blowing one way. So in a sense, it's like that. If you're going either clockwise or counterclockwise, you'll be going east. And if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, you'll be going west. If you knew your orientation, which is why I'm telling you to wake up. Get your power back. They got you disoriented, thinking that you're spinning on a ball. This is your reality. Look at your atmosphere. Is that order? Do you see chaos or order right there? Is that not beautiful? Is that not like a Rolex? I told you you're on the clock until you can get up past the firmament. That's 440, 432. You double that, you double that, you double that. Those are the higher octaves. That's when you're off of space and time. Under 440, you're in space and time. They got you on the clock. This is yours. But there's more land. There's more. How does that go? So you got to expand your imagination. You got more drop than they do, so you got to expand them. But check out that drop again. I'll go back to the chaos if you want. This is, you got to change your perspective. You got to flip it now. Now, instead of being the Most High, or, looking at it through the Most High, his eyes, now you got to just kind of look at it like you're looking at the side of an egg. This is Neil deGrasse Tyson style. This is science. Order or chaos? I mean, do they even look like they're going somewhere? They kind of just swiggling around, doing whatever they want to do. No law. Look, he's going over here. I'm going to go here. I'll go here. And then they got to explain this stuff on the Weather Channel. Well, the rift, the continental rift of this, and that's what's blowing this around like this. Chaos. Look at how it's moving. 1, 2, 3. One more time for order. One more time for your reality. One more time to wake up out of your illusion of seclusion and confusion. Yeah, you know. And pollution. Don't forget that, man. Don't forget pollution. Order or chaos? Can't you just stare at that forever? Doesn't that draw you in? That's swag frequency. Moving on. More drop. Oh, man, dang. Woo, woo. Man, should I do it? I was going to do it. Jeez, there's so much drop. Okay. I'm going to do it. Let's go. Put my chair up. Ooh. All right. I'm going to do this as fast as I can. Been yelling all day. Here we go. So we're going to get back to the island of Atlantis, okay? And we dropped some drop from Pythagoras, I think. Who was that? I'm sorry, Plato. We read before in previous drops. You can check that out. Plato's island of Atlantis. It's worth actually reading again, tell you the truth. But I don't have time. So what I'm going to do is get to where I want to go. Stay focused. I'm going to stay focused. And where was I? I think I lost my place. 1 second. I lost my focus. Okay. All right, here we go. So we read the Plato joint. Now, this is from Socrates, okay? So, you know, Plato had the whole drop. Man, I kind of want to read it again. Man, so much drop. I bet. Yeah. All right. I'm going to read it. Ready? Let's go. He said, ready? Hell yeah. All right. Plato. This is from Plato, circa, I think, 4th century BC. All right. So you'll see this drop. Pull it up. Pull up this drop. It's titled, you get the link, but it's about Atlantis, and we're just getting into the Greek mythology. I want to continue what Lex Will was dropping, what was coming out of the document from High Art, and I mean, look, we can't run from it. We got to really look at all the drop head on. You know what I'm saying? We can't dismiss things as myths anymore, since we understand we are a myth and a fable to these people who are still writing, "We don't know who you are." All of us, right? So. All right, so we're talking about this mythical realm of Atlantis. All right, so this is from Plato in the 4th century BC. Many great and wonderful deeds are recorded of your state, Athens, in the Egyptians' histories. But one of them exceeds all the rest in greatness and valor. For these histories tell of a mighty power, Atlantis, which unprovoked, so automatically it's saying there, which unprovoked made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia. So he's saying, hey, we didn't do anything, but they came anyway. So that's already taken aside, right? And I'm just going to pose the question even ahead of time. Could they be taking the same side now that they took then? Whatever bias this person's writing in, whatever bias Plato's writing in towards these Atlanteans, is it the same bias, for the most part, they have today? Could it be the same bias, the same thing, the same root, the same people? Yeah, I said it. But don't get lost in that right now, because you know, there's a narrow path to it, and we'll cover it in due time. All right. So these histories tell of a mighty power, Atlantis, which unprovoked made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia, and to which your city put an end. So he's talking to
I want to say the Greek Athens. Whoever, I guess whoever the Greek, noble is, or, you know what I'm saying? He's writing to Greece, so clearly he's talking to whoever's in power in Greece. So, yeah, let's go. So it says, it says that unprovoked made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia, into which your city put an end. This power came forth out of the Atlantic Ocean. So you see, Atlantic Ocean has everything to do with Atlantis. And if you got no problem calling it the Atlantic Ocean, you should have no problem accepting that there was a territory and a landmass that was attached to it. You know what I'm saying? And we only live in a part of it, which is what we'll get to at the end. This power came forth out of the Atlantic Ocean, for in those days the Atlantic was navigable. For in those days the Atlantic was navigable. Oh, come on, y'all. Please tell me you feeling me. Please tell me you got the drop. Hey. So, if this was written in the 4th century BC, that means that it's in their documentation that they couldn't cross the Atlantic. It was not even navigable. Whenever this is going down, or should I say, let's read it again so we get the full things. For these histories tell of a mighty power, Atlantis, which unprovoked, please pull this link up, made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia, into which your city put an end. Let's go to the top so we understand. Many great and wonderful deeds are recorded of your state Athens in the Egyptians' history, but one of them exceeds all the rest in greatness and valor. For these histories tell of a mighty power, Atlantis, which unprovoked made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia, into which your city put an end. This power came forth out of the Atlantic Ocean, for in those days the Atlantic was navigable, and there was an island situated in front of the straits, which are by you called Pillars of Hercules. Now we're talking about Africa. So you see, this has everything to do with you. You got to empty your cup. Let's see what's in it. Let's search for the babies, right? Again, we're just putting stuff together. I'm not validating all this Plato stuff, but I'm giving it to you so that we can validate it together to understand that, or at least get an understanding that they keep pointing us to something called Atlantis, so we can't run from it. We got to take it kind of serious right now that we are getting our origin together. You don't think it got nothing to do with you? Is that what your Ruach feel? Or are you interested? All right, so this power came forth out of the Atlantic Ocean, for in those days the Atlantic was navigable, and there was an island situated in front of the straits, which are by you called Pillars of Hercules. The island was larger than Libya and Asia put together, and was the way to other islands or other continents, and from these you might pass to the whole of the opposite continent, All right, could that be South America? Are we the whole of the opposite continent? Because it is the opposite continent, right? We're the opposite. All right, you got me. Which surrounded the true ocean. The true ocean. I heard that before. So they're calling whatever ocean over here is the true ocean. For this sea, which is within the Straits of Hercules, is only a harbor having a narrow entrance, but that other is a real sea. So this sea that I guess is connecting what was Atlantis, and let me give you a visual. This is a map. I forgot where I even got it from. Whoever I got this from, thank you, because this is a cold map. Look it up, man. So far, it's really been having a drop. You really got to dig on it. You'll get that link. Pull it up. So you'll see America here and America here. Don't let that throw you. They just kind of wanted you to get the full spectrum of where Lemuria was on the other side of America. And on the other side, which is over here, you got Atlantis, connecting South America to Africa. So the Pillars of Hercules, I believe, are right there in West Africa. And that was like the gateway, you know what I'm saying, to get into here. And once you got here, you know what I'm saying, then, so yeah, Atlantis definitely connected right here to Africa. I believe that was the gate. Once you got that, past that, then you got into many other islands, right? And this might be the whole of it right here. Very interesting, at least. But they're saying that unprovoked, these people here ran up on these people and jammed them up. But we know that, of course, they're telling lies. They've always told lies. So they must have, you know, I mean, you look into it. You look into it. I'm just going to keep dropping it. For this sea, which is within the Straits of Hercules, make sure we're good. All right. Within the Straits of Hercules is only a harbor having a narrow entrance, but that other is a real sea, and the surrounding land may be most truly called a boundless continent. So he's saying the surrounding land, and I'm just getting this too, man, like in real, and the surrounding land, let's read it, and the surrounding land may be most truly called. So we're talking about, let's get our visual. All right. So we talked about the Pillars of Hercules, getting into Atlantis. This is no longer here. That's why it was not navigable. When this sunk, these waters were done. They couldn't get it. This was a wall. They finally got to cross that wall in 1492. It was a divine thing. And he sent them to us, hey, to discipline us from all the idols and all the stuff that we had picked up and everything our forefathers had done, leaving the order. And Atlantis was out of order for a while, and we'll get into that. So I'm going to try to go real quick. Now listen, it says, having a narrow entrance, and that other is a real sea, talking about the true sea, and the surrounding land may be most truly called a boundless continent. Boundless. The poles. This might be where you access the infinite land. You know what I'm saying? This might be where you access these poles, I don't know, might give you some access to the boundless land. You might have to come over here to get here. This might be the gateway here. Them trying to cross the Pillars of Hercules to get into Atlantis, to get into this, to get into the gateway. Who had the gateway? Atlantis, Lemuria. You know what I'm saying? Those, you know. But we'll get into some of that origin as well, right? So I'm trying to go quick. Hopefully you're with me. Right on. We're good, right? All right. Hope this ain't no symbol or nothing. I'm just trying to say what's up, man. Like, man, don't be thumbs up with me, dog. I researched thumbs up means, man, you try to just jam me up. Thumbs up mean jam up, man. Nah, man. All right. So now, and the surrounding land may be most truly called a boundless continent. Now, in this island of Atlantis, there was a great and wonderful empire. Really? Let's hear about that empire. I wonder if there were melanated. Okay. A great and wonderful empire which had rule over the whole island, or continent, or continents, right? Which had rule over the whole island and several others. Okay, so the whole area. Keep going too far. The whole area. So they're saying this king, this empire, had rule over all this. All this. I don't know really where that goes yet, but it's there. But definitely here. Here. Alright. Here we go. Let's go. Let's get gully. Let's get gulla. Say what? Let's get gully? Let's get gulla. Let's turn our frequency up just a notch. Now, alright, so we had the surrounding land may be most truly called a boundless continent. Now, in this island of Atlantis, there was a great and wonderful empire which had rule over the whole island and several others in other parts of the continent. And furthermore, the men of Atlantis had subjected the parts of Libya, Africa, within the columns of Hercules as far as Aegyptos, Egypt. Aegyptos, Egypt. Aegyptos, Egypt. Aegyptos, Egypt. Freeze it, pause it, dig on it. Aegyptos. Alright. Aegyptos, Egypt. So he's saying that furthermore, the men of Atlantis had subjected the parts of Libya, Africa. So now do you see why people might have a beef with you? Now you see why people might not claim reparations for you. Might sell you out. Maybe there's some ancient history that they're a little pissed off at. You know, I mean, I'm sure it's the Most High thing too. They're like, oh, you guys think you're chosen, you know, you think you're Israel and all that kind of stuff. You don't exist, we hate you anyway. If you did exist, we still hate you. But maybe there's some deeper drive. But I don't know. I don't want to just say that there was some Israelites conquering. I'm just saying they were Atlanteans. And we're also going to get into this fallen angel seed. So it could be the fallen angel seed that was doing the conquering. But there were definitely some other people there other than the fallen angels that were in Atlantis. We understand that there were native people always here, right? So the indigenous people were there too. That's what we're trying to understand. Who were those indigenous people? Not necessarily these people doing the conquering. Whatever gripe beef this was may not have had nothing to do with us. But it definitely was a power move. And again, we're talking about the pillars of Hercules. The pillars of Hercules, all right, being right here, I believe. Or maybe some, you know, this, I don't know. Some type of connection to where they were trying to get through it. And that was the dividing line, I believe. And then they said they got pushed all the way into Libya. You know, Africa was Libya, is Libya. Right, all the way into Europe by this army out of here. Let's go. Sorry, my voice is dying on me a little bit, man. I gotta do a lot of talking for it to die on me, because, you know, whatever. Gotta drop that drop. Love y'all, man. Shalom. Let's go. Alright, so furthermore, the men of Atlantis had subjected the parts of Libya, Africa, within the columns, excuse me, of Hercules, as far as Aegyptos, Egypt, all right, and of Europe as far as Tyrrhenia, and they say in Italia, so Italy. The vast power gathered into one endeavored to subdue at a blow our country and yours and the whole of the region within the strait. So he's singing about how Athens came to the rescue, how these Greeks destroyed this power that moved in on them from Atlantis a long time ago. We're going to get into who was behind Atlantis and how this war they're talking about is really the war between Poseidon, maybe, and, you know, whatever other person Poseidon was fighting, that Zeus, right? So I think Lex will drop something how Zeus being Ham, But then we have, you know what I'm saying, some type of Poseidon character over here. But that was, we'll talk about the fallen angel Nephilim thing. So it's crazy. I know I sound like I'm all over the place, but dig on it. I'm going quick, you know. But no, Poseidon is not sure. But it's just interesting. He came over here. You'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So these men pushed him back. Furthermore, the men of Atlantis subjected the parts of Libya within the columns of Hercules as far as Aegyptos, Egypt, and of Europe as far as Tyrrhenia and Italia, Italy. The vast power gathered into one endeavor to subdue at a blow our country and yours and the whole of the region within the straits. And then Solon, your country, shone forth in the excellence of her virtue and strength among all mankind. She was preeminent in courage and military skill and was the leader of the Hellenes. Hellenistic, the leader of the Hellenes, that's a tribe. And when the rest fell off from her, being compelled to stand alone after having undergone the very extremity of danger, she defeated and triumphed over the invaders. Now remember, the original Greeks are also melanated. The original Romans are also melanated. So this is a big melanated war going on here. Okay, so I want you to have the right picture. It's not like black versus white. This is not what this is talking about. They're writing about history, but remember, their gods are black gods, quote unquote. The original Zeus and the original, look those people up. And those gods were so-called African gods. So it's not crazy when we're connecting to Zeus, Ham, Africa, Ham, however this is connected, right? So this is, you know, what it is. And again, this ain't about having all the answers. You're just seeing it live in full effect. Somebody build on a journey of knowledge and understanding. If you can get with it, cool. If you're not afraid of it, dig on it. All right. So she was preeminent. So it talks about how they, you know, all right. So it says, but afterwards there occurred violent. Okay. All right. And here's you got to listen. She was preeminent, right? So Greece was preeminent, right? The heathen won, right? Or whatever you want to call it. All right. So she defeated and triumphed over the invaders and preserved from slavery. So they were worried about being put into slavery from the people that were coming in from Atlantis, right? So they said, man, we were preserved from slavery. Those who were not yet subjugated and generously liberated all the rest of us who dwell within the pillars. Liberated. They were in captivity, man. They're talking about their freedom out of captivity. I mean, you know, or their fear of being further put into a captivity or a captive situation, right? But afterwards, I'll read that again. She defeated and triumphed over the invaders and preserved from slavery those who were not yet subjugated. So somebody was subjugated and generously liberated all the rest of us. So somebody got liberated who dwell within the pillars. But afterwards, now, what was the result from nature? What was nature's response? What was Hea's response? But afterwards, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all of your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared in the depths of the sea. Dig on it. So this got sunk in a sense because whatever war that they claiming to have won from Athens, they must have then got beyond the pillars. And it wasn't just that this was the bad part of Atlantis. It's just that that's the part that they got through after they got past the pillars of Hercules in West Africa. This was connected. Or maybe this is the island here and this was connected here. So they had to come here through Europe. The pillars of Hercules is probably right here. He had control over this whole spot.
Whatever happened, whatever technology they're talking about they used to win, they did something. They did some type of nuclear something. And then they got through. But then the Most High sunk it. Isn't that kind of like Egypt? In a sense, you know what I'm saying? With the, Red Sea parting and then something got sunk, Similar, I'm just pontificating. So, it got sunk, I believe, to stop them from getting to the poles, to the portals, to the drop, to all the drop that's over here. So this became unnavigable. They couldn't navigate it anymore. They couldn't even get past this wall of water until Columbus got through and raised hell on you and me right here. And that's why in 1800s they're saying, well, we don't really know their history like that. We can't really tell you. We can just tell you that they most likely didn't just come right from here. We didn't just take them from here and bring us across these rough terrain waters, unnavigable, and make it here. These people, we knew how to navigate here. We knew how to do our navigation. We knew how to communicate. We're all indigenous, but where's your inheritance? Is your inheritance on this side of the beautiful earth? It's all one body, so it's all beautiful. It's all equally gorgeous, all of it. We've been taught to divide it and divide ourselves. It's all one body, but we all have our lots. We all have our inheritance. Your family here is from here. Help them get their land back. Check out that GoFundMe, Lex Will, underneath the page. Every drop I do, you got an opportunity to see what he's doing. And, hey, support that, or just, look at the, other drop, but just how you can go out there camping and do your own thing. You don't got to go in one movement or one wave. You can do whatever you got to do. My thing is just wake up, suit up, choose up, and you might need to get out the cities. That's all I'm saying. So let's continue a little bit on now. But afterwards, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men, it didn't say the Atlanteans, although we know that many Atlanteans must have perished too, but it didn't say all the Atlanteans perished. They didn't say all the natives in it. You'll see what I'm saying. But afterwards, there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared in the depths of the sea, for which the sea in those parts is impassable and impenetrable, because there is a shoal, sounds like Sheol, right? Shoal of mud in the way, and this was caused by the subsidence of the island, meaning it fell. Pause it, dig on it. Who wants to drive? Who wants it? Go on once, go on twice. This ain't no play. I know it's a little freaky. It's going to freak you out. The truth is very uncomfortable, ain't it? For which reason the sea in those parts is impassable and impenetrable, because there is a shoal of mud in the way, and this was caused by the subsidence of the island. Where, oh where could that island possibly be? Okay, so yes, it was all connected. We are all one family, indigenous family on earth, but yes, there is order, and yes, we have lots. And yes, there is a root to the tree, which means that the energy in the seed is rooted in order. Kwame Yasharala. The truth is uncomfortable. Now, I want to skip ahead to Socrates. I was going to do this first, but I had to go to the Plato. I'm glad I did, because I got more drop out of it. Now, this is what Socrates wrote in about 113, looks like BC. So, scroll down a little bit. And let's get into this a little bit. Freeze it, read it. This is dope. I know it's small, though. So, pull up the link and scroll down. Shoot, I can't babysit you.
Nah, love to y'all. All right, so Socrates, he says, if I can sufficiently remember and report the tale once told by the priest and brought hither by Solon. Look up this Solon guy. I don't know who he is. Solon. I am well nigh convinced that I shall appear to the present audience to have fulfilled my task adequately. This, then, I must at once proceed to do, and procrastinate no longer. Now, first of all, we must recall the fact that 9,000 is the sum of years since the war occurred. I don't know what that means, but somebody does, I'm sure. 9,000 is the sum of the years since the war occurred, as is recorded between the Atlantis dwellers beyond the pillars of Hercules. This is from Socrates, not Plato. So this is somebody else validating everything Plato's saying, who is equally or more, put on a pedestal in their philosophy, all right? So he says, 9,000 is the sum of years since the war occurred, and is recorded between the Atlantis dwellers beyond the pillars of Hercules. So who would they call the Atlantis dwellers beyond the pillars of Hercules today? Would it be the indigenous people of that land? Beyond the pillars of Hercules, like I said, Atlantis is a plural form of Atlas. We'll get into that, but Atlas means multiple continents. So the Atlas, the Atlantis, is a plural form, of Atlas. So, but we'll get into this Atlas, and we'll see why this whole group of continents was called Atlantis. Yeah, it just got real, right? Hit him over the head. All right, Mark, you already get that, man. You already knew I was going there. I already know it. Whom they, Let's get it. I'm going to read this quick. I know you got the drop, so I'm going to read it fast. I got way more drop to do, so let's go. As it is recorded, between the Atlantis dwellers beyond the pillars of Hercules and all that dwelt within them, which war we have now to relate in detail. This is a big war no one's telling you about. It was stated that this city of ours, Athens, Greece, was in command of the one side and fought through the whole of the war. So Athens rallied the whole area, right? And in command of the whole side were the kings of the other side were the kings of the island of Atlantis. So these were a group of kings that they were fighting from the other side. Now do you see how important this other side is? How they just broke down the partition and why they are writing inquiries as to who you are and which bloodlines you come from. They probably already know. I don't need to check any other source. They know who I am already while I'm trying to figure it out. They're like, yeah, he's getting closer. Same thing with you. They're watching you wake up. If the stars revolve around you and the sun and moon revolve around you, maybe they revolve around you too. Maybe you're the TV show. Maybe you're Kardashians, to those in the know. Truman Show. The truth is stranger than fiction, right? And it's very uncomfortable. Which war I will now relate in detail. It was stated that this city of ours, Athens, was in command of the one side and fought through the whole of the war, and in command of the other side were the kings of the island of Atlantis, which we said was an island larger than Libya and Asia once upon a time. So combine Africa and Asia, you have Atlantis. Where's all that landmass now? They just gave you a visual of how big it was. Now all you got to do is put it together. They said it's as big as this and this, which you know they got to be including this, because this is also Asia. Don't let them fool you. This ain't Europe. This is West Asia, right? East Asia, West Asia, right? So they're saying
it was bigger than this. I'm sorry, it was bigger than all this over here. All right, so you might have to include that. That's all the same thing. These are both America. Atlantis, bang, bang, bang. I mean, come on. Dang, you gotta really feel this, man. Cause I'm. If no one else is digging it, I'm having a good time. Cold and everything. I don't care. I'm enjoying it. Kingdrop is at your service. All right, where are we? Okay. An island larger than Libya in Asia once upon a time, but now lies sunk. So dang, just that part alone was larger. But now lies sunk by earthquakes and has created a barrier of impassable mud. All that was mud. That's why it's so hard to cross it. Remember the drop from the book African Americans and Native Americans and Africans, red people, black people, you know that drop, Jack Forbes, and he drops how it's 4 times easier for us to take the Gulf Stream to Africa than it is coming back. That the water's coming back is 4 times harder, 4 times the sweat, 4 times the time. Everything is like quadruple. So it makes no sense for them to be taking us from Africa, all these millions of us in these little ships crossing the most unnavigable water imaginable. Or it makes more sense for them to take you from here because you are the new world people and they wanted to show you off in the old world. And they took you to Africa and they took you to Europe and Spain, Portugal, and everywhere in between. It says, but now lies sunk by earthquakes and has created a barrier of impassable mud, which prevents those who are sailing out from here to the ocean beyond from proceeding further. Does this sound like play? Or did they just find you here? Now, as regards the numerous barbaric tribes and all the Hellenic nations that then existed, the sequel of our story, when it is, as it were, unrolled, which disclose what happened in each locality, but the facts about the Atlanteans of that age and the enemies, but the facts about the Athenians, the Greeks, the Athenians of that age and the enemies, the Atlantis. So now do you see? Oh man, I haven't even read this. I just want to drop it. I just had to drop it, man. So that's what the war is about. I mean, it definitely got something to do with this. The Greeks, even the dark Greeks, and the ones that preceded them in that fight, which are really, we're talking about energies. The ruling parties of the energies, which have, armies and kingdoms. We'll get into that in a second. I'm trying to go real quick before this cuts off again on me. So it's about the Athenians and the Atlantes. The Atlanteans, the Athenians. Which side are you on? I guess because clearly this Greek Roman stuff has never stopped, right? Clearly the Pope wrote in 1452, subject the Saracens and pagans and all the enemies of this idol Christ that they brought to you, right? They brought it to you after they crossed the partition, right? After they crossed the partition, this is no longer here. So they got across here and they brought you that idol. But you already were doing your idol thing. You had already been invaded with the idols. The idols were here when you got here with the Canaanites, which had idols all the way back to Atlantis. And that's why this was allowed to happen, and that's why this was sunk. And that's why this is your history. Okay, so it's a numerous barbaric tribes and the Hellenic nations that then existed. The sequel of our stories, when it is, as it were, unrolled, will disclose what happened in each locality, but the facts about the Athenians of that age and the enemies, the Atlantes, with whom they fought,
we must necessarily describe first at the outset the military power, that is to say, of each of their forms of government. And of these two, we must give the priority in our account to the state of Athens. So then it's going to go into, all their drop once upon a time in Athens. And I got a lot more to drop, but I wanted to lead you to the water. I'm going to skip down to this little paragraph here, and then I'm going to keep going. I'm keeping the sprint going, man. So just scroll down a little bit on me, man. All right. So I'm going to go up here a little bit. So I'm going to say, so all these themselves and their descendants dwelt, oh wait, I'm going to go up. Wait. Bear with me, I just saw some drop. Okay. You know what, we just got to do this, y'all. Let's just do it. Because it's way too much drop. I can't skip ahead. Let's do it. Hope I got enough time. If not, there'll be a part 2. We're going to get through it. Okay. Once upon a time, the gods were taking over by lot the whole earth according to its region. Pause it and read it, man, because you're going to get the drop right away as soon as you start to read it. Oh, nah, wait. Wait a minute. Don't jam me up, man. You see how they tried to do me? Tried to jam me clean. Give me back. Give me that. All right. We back. All right. Pause it and read it. Pull it up. Get the drop. Once upon a time, the gods, when they say gods, they're talking about fallen gods. They're talking about 440 hertz. They're talking about what exists in the celestial, underneath the firmament. That's as far as they can get. They're kicked out of heaven, right? So they're not able to get to the higher frequencies. They're not able to get to 432. They have to keep you in 440. They don't even keep you in 216. They just got you off the entire scale. Remember, you got 12 strands of DNA. It's reconnecting right now. Those are not junk DNA. That's real DNA. And it's connected to the 12 octaves. But you got to yourself get above the 440. And as a nation, we got to get in order. And those are our 10 commandments. And that's the sound. That's the vibration. That's the order of this entire, earth, this entire system. It's sound, right? We saw the semantics. When the Most High speaks his word, let there be. His frequency, his sound, his voice creates. So whatever frequency your sound is in, your seed is in, from father to son, it is what it is. You were created in order or chaos. You'll figure it out. So once upon a time, the gods were taken over. So now they're going to take over, right? Go to the biblical story when the angels fell and they decided to take over. Even this was done in order. Go back to the biblical story. In the Torah, once upon a time, the gods were taken over by lot, the whole earth, according to its regions. The fallen angels said, okay, of course they had a leader. We know who that is. And they had regions. They had their regions. They said, which region am I going to go jam up? Right? These were the jam up artists. A lot of people worship these things, but they're jam up artists. I know they do cool stuff. They got you in high technologies. They got you all kind of pyramids. They got all kinds of things popping. But they were doing this back in Atlantis and everywhere else they came from. This pyramid game is old business. And they use it against you. They were putting the pyramids in 440. A lot of them. I got a lot more research to do, but we already looked at the Pyramid of Giza. We looked at the harmonics that are being measured in the King's Chamber are 440 hertz. And if that's true, that means that they might have all been on 440. And the entire grid, the ley lines, all those sites, all of these pyramids might have been in 440, which is why our heritage was not about these pyramids. We were just about hey. And they used the 440 frequency the same way Hitler did, the same way America's using. That's why they pyramids on the back of the dollar. They're in the frequency. They're in the grid. The pyramid represents the grid. Once upon a time, the gods were taken over by lot, the whole earth, according to its regions. Not according to results of strife, meaning they didn't beef about this. They were in order. For it would not be reasonable to suppose that the gods were ignorant of their own several rights. They knew their order. Nor yet that they attempted to obtain for themselves by means of strife a possession to which others, as they knew, had a better claim. So if they said, man, this is better for you, you got it. They were in order. Even though they were fallen, they still had a chief, and that chief had them in order. Does order come out of chaos, or chaos come out of order? I think chaos comes out of order. They were chaos, but they were still had to get in order. That's why there's still secret societies and orders of this and orders of this and orders of that, because they still have their own order. Remember the Georgia Guidestones, they got their own 10 commandments too. So you think the commandments are a joke, but these entities got their own one. Why? Because they are the inverse of nature. Once upon a time, the gods were taken over by lot the whole earth according to its region, not according to the result of strife, for it would not be reasonable to suppose that the gods were ignorant of their own several rights, nor yet they attempted to obtain for themselves by means of strife a possession to which others, as they knew, had a better claim. So by just allotments they received each one his own, and they settled their countries. And when they had thus settled them, they reared us up. Who? The Athenians. The Greeks came out of these fallen angels. Even as herdsmen rear their flocks to be their cattle and nurslings. Only it was not our bodies that they constrained by bodily force. So they didn't have to constrain their bodies by bodily force. What did they use? Like shepherds guiding their flocks with stroke of staff. So they didn't have to use it like a slave with a stroke with a staff, but they directed from the stern, where the living creature is easiest to turn around, laying hold on the soul by persuasion, as by a rudder according to their own disposition, and thus they drove and stirred all the mortal kind. They directed from the stern, so that they didn't have to do the whole, they already said, it wasn't by bodily force, so this stern wasn't a bodily thing. I'll read it again. It said, it was not our bodies that they constrained by bodily force, like shepherds guiding their flocks with a stroke of staff, but they directed from the stern, where the living creature is easiest to turn around, laying hold on the soul by persuasion. They had to get to the soul by persuasion. Your mind, 440 hertz. They got your mind. They didn't need to get your body. They got your body anyway. But they're saying that they got them with this type of trickery with the frequency. If they got them by the stern, if they got your mind, they got you by the frequency. Remember, how do you know something is real? Because you touch it. So you use your senses. You see it. But are those not just electric signals sent into your brain? Is that not what virtual reality is and all these things are? Is that they're sending electric signals? They're hijacking your electric magnetic force, your field, your signals. They could put a signal in your brain and make you feel something, smell something, touch something. Those are sensory. Those are electromagnetic. We are electron. We are electric. We are energy. We are vibration. 432. Sematics. Sound. So they're telling this Socrates is saying, man, they had these Athenians, these fallen angels came in, and they got our minds, and they used us as flock. Let's keep going quickly. All right. It was not our bodies that they constrained by bodily force, like shepherds guiding their flock with a stroke of staff, but they directed from the stern, where the living creature is easiest to turn around, laying hold on the possession by persuasion as by a rudder according to their own disposition, and thus they drove and stirred all the mortal kind. Concerning the allotments of the gods, that they portioned out the whole earth, concerning the allotments of the gods, that they portioned out the whole earth, here into larger allotments, and there into smaller, and provided for themselves shrines and sacrifices, pyramids, mounds. Even so, Poseidon took for his